Now, we've made an interactive version of the diff that you can play with on our website. It's really cool, but remember the important thing about this is the thinking. So if you have to go into the mountains with a pen and paper and write it down for a weekend, do that. Whatever helps you do the work.
Where you start is figuring out what your mission is. And that's actually really hard for most people. I spent with 140 conservationists yesterday. I spent an hour just getting them started on understanding their mission, and they're all conservationists.
Funny thing we've learned about missions is that defining a mission is actually really hard, especially for experienced people, right? If you spent 10, 20 years in the field doing this stuff, you've spent so much of your time pitching big things to funders and motivating teams with the minutiae of what we're going to do each day to create change. Getting all that down to a really succinct utilitarian mission statement that you can design around, it's honestly really hard.
Businesses are ruthless about designing for profit. You got to be the same about designing for impact. You know, when people say my mission is to end poverty in Africa, that's actually not a useless mission. We can work with that. It'd be nice if it were a little more specific but still ambitious. And that's the perfect mission. It's specific but ambitious enough to focus you but create a vision at scale. Come up with 8 words that capture your target population and the big outcome. Verb, target population or setting or species or whatever. Outcome. Get African farmers out of extreme poverty. Save coral reefs in Micronesia. Save kids' lives in Liberia. It's generic. Has nothing to do with your idea yet. I don't even want to know your idea yet. I'm asking you, okay, you got your idea. I'll take it on faith you have an idea. What's the mission of your idea? Well, this isn't for your website. It can be chunky and utilitarian. It's a tool. It's a design tool. You can have 50 different ways to save a reef, but they're all saving a reef. And if they don't understand they're saving a reef, they're going to go in all kinds of useless directions. Generally, it's hard to imagine an idea that saves the whales, right? But it's not hard to imagine one that saves whales in the Sri Lankan shipping corridor. Saves blue whales in the Sri Lankan shipping corridor. That's a lot of whales. And maybe if it works there, it can work other places.
In this lesson, we're going to use the example of the Inyenyeri clean cook stove. Now, Inyenyeri is a Rwandan social benefit company that sells cook stoves that save lives in rural households. For Inyenyeri, the mission is simple: save lives in poor households. Notice how clear the verb and the population is there. It's poor households, and the verb is to save their lives.
Another thing I ask people is, why are you doing this? What made you decide to put your time and talent and future into this thing? That often teases out what the real mission is in the back of their head. And that's super helpful. So the verb is the least important of the two, right? If you just left out the verb and you said, healthy reefs in Indonesia, that's useful. The verb actually does it as much as anything. It just makes it a statement, gives it a flavor. End reef destruction, or you can say create healthy reefs. Same thing, but it's more positive. The more positive the language and the more assertive the verb, the more, I think, of a driver and inspiration the mission can be. I use the word get a lot. So people say, provide access to clean water. And it's like, okay, but how about get clean water to people? Well, the one thing that trips people up is they have a really hard time settling in on one thing, or deciding which one has primacy. or even admitting to themselves that there is one thing that has primacy. Let's say somebody has a clean cook stove idea. They think they're saving the forest. They think they're saving people money. They think they're saving women labor. They think they're making people healthier. And you actually have to design for one of those. Your mission is really one of those. And maybe the other stuff happens along the way, but you can't simultaneously design for all five.
So what I love about how Kevin does design is that he is ruthless. He uses very simple words, and it's about doing one thing well. This is exactly how startups think about system design. You tune your entire organization towards doing one thing.
The mission is the what you're setting out to accomplish. It's not the how, and it isn't the why either, right? It's the what. A lot of people get it right if they really give it a chance, because it's the first time they've heard of this, but actually the pieces were all there.
So the thing a lot of our students struggle with is that it's we're good people doing good work. Because we're doing it, the work is good, and that's enough, right? But this process of design forces you to be ruthless about the specificity of the good that you're doing.
A good mission, actually, when you look at it, is your success or failure statement. If we do this, we succeed. If we don't, we fail. That really sorts it out for people. Getting that right is the single most important thing that we do, because that takes their idea and often for the first time gives it real clarity and focus and implies what the road ahead looks like.